Hi, Jennie. Welcome. It's so great to have you here today. Thanks for being our interviewee with Lightworker Tech Tribe. Hi, everyone. If you're watching the recording, I'm Lori McDaniel. I am the founder of Lightworker Tech Tribe. Welcome. Today, we're talking with Jennie Lyon of Jennie Lyon Digital Marketing and Virtual Assistant Services. Did I get that all right?
You got it right.
Yeah, good. And it's just great to have you here today. I've been working with you recently and I've just really had such a great experience, and I really see the value that you bring to people like us who are light workers but who may need some help with the digital marketing and sort of technical aspects of things. Why don't you introduce yourself and just tell us, how did you get into this, and how long ago was it? How did that evolve? Tell us a little bit about you.
Sure, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me on, Lori. I'm really excited to talk about this. So, yeah, I've been in business for almost 20 years, if you can believe that. Wow. Yeah, it's been actually 19 years. It's my son's birthday today, and that's basically when I started. It was right after he was born. So, yeah, coming up on 20 years. So, wow, time flies for sure. Initially, I had started the business really as a professional blogger. If you can believe that or not, blogging was really starting to become a big deal. And I had started a green lifestyle blog because I thought, what a fun thing to do with my son as he was, getting a little bit bigger. We could do different types of, projects, organic recipes, eco-friendly how-tos, and it was a lot of fun. And within just a few months of launching it, I really got some great partnerships with some really big brands like Target and Cascadian Farm and Stonyfield Farm, and it was a lot of fun. And then, I started thinking, I wonder if there's more things I can do at home. I wasn't really thinking that I wanted to go back into the work field because, my son was so little. So, I started to learn as much as I could about, digital marketing and content creation, and social media was starting to pick up, and email marketing, and just started to learn more and more and more. And then, believe it or not, I would get up every morning early and I would check Craigslist for work. I would type in virtual, see if I could find anything. And I did that for weeks, and I finally found someone who was looking for some help. And so I applied and we hit it off, and she was my first client, and I did content creation, email marketing, customer service, a lot of different things for her. And I did that for quite some time. And then, I started to she would refer a friend, and, started to kind of grow. And, and it's just I kept learning new things. If she, needed something, or one of the newer clients needed something, I was like, hey, I can learn that. People started asking for graphic design and website design, and I thought, I should learn that. That's probably going to be something that's going to come in handy. So just kind of, kept learning and, kept evolving, and here I am all these years later.
Oh, wow. That's great. I feel like it's really uncommon to find someone with your length of, the breadth and depth of your experience. Most people are 10 years or less. And then you've got the millennials who are 5 years or less, which is,
right.
There's nothing wrong with that, but it's quite different from working with someone who has, 19, 20 years of experience. That's great.
Right.
And so tell us a little bit about what you do today. Right now, what is your set of services?
Yeah, absolutely. So because of how long I've been doing this, I offer a lot of different services. So I would say, everything within digital marketing. So we do a ton of copywriting. I write a lot of blog posts and website copy, email campaigns, social media campaigns, tons of different types of writing. Ghostwritten some books, a lot of copywriting, copy editing, a lot of social media marketing, everything from strategy to implementing it, writing content, scheduling, outreach, advertising, social media advertising, a lot of funnels. We do a lot of funnels and product launches, landing pages, oh my gosh, webinars, online courses. I do a few websites a year, a lot of website redesigns though. A lot of people come and, they have a website from the 90s, it needs a facelift. And or, or they need SEO on their website. So we do a lot of that. Email marketing, of course, everything from, nurture sequences to newsletters. I mean, every part of it. And then a lot of stuff in between, a lot of, just one-off type things. And then a lot of like admin type stuff. We do a lot of lead generation or admin services, reputation management, a little bit of everything, really.
Wow. That's a
Yeah,
lot. That's
it is
a lot. That's really, really impressive. It really sounds like you're like a one-stop shop for a real wide spectrum of what a small business owner or solopreneur would need. That's really great. Yeah, I didn't
Absolutely.
actually realize that you had all of that. I knew a lot of
Yeah.
that, but I didn't realize the breadth of it. That's really,
Yeah,
really great.
it just continues to, evolve. Like membership sites are becoming really big. So
Yeah.
started to build those podcasts are becoming big. So I have a couple clients that I do that for. So, it's just continually adding things and kind of adjusting with the market and, what's working, what's not working, what I see be, really successful for people. We do more of that. And then things that maybe aren't working so much, or things are changing so much, so always growing. Yeah.
Wow. That's just amazing that you do so much. That's great. Well, tell me a little bit about like, what is a virtual assistant? I mean, we have a wide sort of broad understanding of it from what you've been saying, but if you could talk a little bit more about the importance of a virtual assistant and why it's important to find one at any stage, and perhaps, well, yeah, let's start with that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's many different types of virtual assistants out there for sure. I mean, a lot of people will focus in one area. So you'll find like virtual assistants that create, content, or that create, graphic design. But then you'll have others like me that kind of do a bunch of things or a lot of different things. So really, I think a virtual assistant can do, almost anything that an in-house assistant could do. It's just online. So, I mean, even if you're looking for someone to answer phones or respond to emails, even on that low level of admin, that can definitely be, something a virtual assistant can do, but it really can grow, into much more, like with the digital marketing and, all of the different types of creative work that we do, everything from the blogs and social media, and we also tend to do a lot of stuff that takes a lot of time for people. So things like social media, it's something that people know is important, but it takes time and they don't have time. They want to have a social media presence. They want, to, have clients coming in from social media, but, just don't have the time to do it. So a lot of things that are kind of recurring, I see a lot with clients. If it's weekly blog content, weekly newsletters, social media, it can be a lot of repetitive type stuff. But then I have a lot of clients that come in for bigger projects, and we'll kind of map those out from beginning to end. If we're launching a product, or building a membership site, or creating a webinar, then kind of go through every single step of it. So yeah, I think really anyone can use a virtual assistant. I have clients that start really small because maybe they're just starting out and they don't have a huge budget. So I try to be really flexible in helping people who are just starting out, because I know how important that is. But then all the way up to businesses that have been in business for a long time, and they have a bigger budget and they're really trying to move to that next level. So really, I think there's something for everyone. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. That's so great. And it's so great because you're so experienced that you really can go big or small like that, or like a small project or a more in-depth project like a launch. That's really,
absolutely,
it's great.
Yeah, and it's really fun. It's fun to work on both ends of the spectrum, but when I'm working with a newer client too, it's fun to see where they're at, and to jump in and look at everything that they have, to make recommendations and suggest changes to grow, to get to that next step. And then even fun on the other end with larger businesses. It's fun to go through, usually they have like funnels set up, and it's fun to kind of go through and audit what they have, and fix things and make it produce even more. That's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So on the subject of, working with the different size businesses, if you're
Mhm.
thinking about like light worker type folks, coaches, healers,
Yeah,
change makers, usually they're
yeah,
solopreneurs with a small,
mhm,
if they have a
absolutely.
team, it's very small.
Right.
Um, what kinds of mistakes do you see people making when it comes to, um, what we're discussing today? And what are some of the things that you would suggest instead?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the big things that I see is, people will come to me and they're kind of trying everything at once. So they're like throwing everything at the wall, trying to see what will stick. And, that can be very frustrating if you're
Yeah,
trying to keep
yeah,
all these balls in the air. So I see that a lot. That can be really frustrating, especially for, small business owners like coaches and that can be so frustrating because they're already
right.
trying to work with clients,
Yeah,
and they've got all these other things that they're trying to do as well. And then I have some clients, where they have, maybe a business that's more face to face with clients and they don't have that online portion of it, which I think is so important, especially like with everything that's happening right now in the world. I've had a lot of clients come to me really because they were seeing clients in person and what do I do now? And oh my gosh,
the
so I
pivot.
think yeah,
Right,
having the versatility, so that you can move your business online and, having an online component. I think that's so
right.
important. I mean, that and, I think it's great to have varying services and products so that you can offer a lot of different things, whether it's online courses and webinars or different types of products and services that you can package together. I
Hmm,
think, kind of having those multiple streams of income that can really, uh, it just makes them feel like, so nice. You're not waiting for income to just come from one area, it can come from many different areas. So yeah,
yes,
I
that's
think that's one of the biggest things for sure. I mean, I would say, yeah, I mean, as far as like other mistakes that I see, um, I think a lot too is that we can only do so much in the day. We only
right.
have so much time.
Hmm.
And if you're meeting with clients the majority of the day, then it's really hard to get those things that need to be done, especially the marketing type items that really do need to always be happening, in the background. Even if you're busy, you should really still be marketing because
Hmm.
if things slow down, you always want to have a pipeline of new clients coming in. So I mean, I totally understand all of that. And that's why I think having a virtual assistant is so important. I remember the first year that I worked in my business, I made $14,000.
Hmm.
And my husband was like, what is happening? Like, are we going to be able to like sustain this?
Yeah,
Like, I don't know. And I was working full time. I mean, I was working my behind off. I really was, but I was only making $14,000. And
hmm,
you know, I don't know, it took me quite some time, but one day I had a light bulb and thought, maybe I need a virtual assistant because I was doing the same
right.
thing that every small business. I was trying to take great care of my clients and do all of my own stuff on top of it. And it
Hmm.
just, I was working constantly. And my husband was like, it's 7 o'clock on a Friday. Are you going to be done? And I was like, I don't know. And so now I do. I have help. So, that I make sure that my blog goes out every week. I don't have to worry about it. I know ahead of time that it's been done. It's scheduled, it's ready to go. And, with the social media, same type of thing. I have it all ready to go, but it's scheduled, it's done a month in advance. I don't have to worry about it again. And it really does free up so much like space. I mean, in your mind and in your day. And, it's just a weight off. But then you also, that's where you grow. It's because I have more time to focus on, the most important thing, which is growing the business, not,
Yeah,
not scheduling blogs.
right. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is huge. I really want to underscore what you were just saying because it's such an important thing for people who are new to the world of digital marketing to really understand is that you can schedule your content. You can have a whole like you said a month ahead of time, you can have a schedule And then you can even like do the blogs ahead of time, like a month ahead of time,
Absolutely.
you know?
Yeah.
So that's really great. I'm so glad you brought up that example and that you live that way and are
Right.
like this living like testimonial to how great it is to do that. So
Absolutely.
I just want to underscore that and thank you for bringing that up.
You bet. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I try to, schedule everything that I possibly can ahead of time,
Right,
blog, newsletters, I batch everything together too, which saves time. I record,
right.
I'll do 2 months worth of videos in one day. I'll get ready once. I'll
Wow.
just change my shirt and my earrings. Looks like a different day.
Yeah, all in one day. I've thought about doing that and I haven't done that yet. I love that you're actually doing that and you're saying that it works. I have read about that and I haven't taken that on. I
Yeah,
think
it's
that makes a
amazing.
lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you think about it, you've got to kind of get in that mindset, especially when it comes to like recording videos. You've got to be, in that mindset and ready to go. And, if you're going to get ready and you're ready to go, it makes it really easy. You just do one and then change clothes
Mhm.
and do the next. And
Yeah.
yeah, I can get like 2 months worth in a couple of hours, be completely done with everything. And I'm like, oh, so nice. I don't have to worry about that again for a
Wow.
while.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to do that now. Like I'm absolutely inspired. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I love it. Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about the mistakes, like when people go and hire a virtual assistant, they've seen the light bulb has gone
Right.
off, and they're like, I think I need a virtual assistant. I think Jennie's right. They've watched this. They're like, I think I need someone.
Right.
What are the, like kind of the mistakes you see people make when they hire a virtual assistant for these types of things? And what would you recommend instead? Like you see the mistakes and then like, what's the right way to go about it?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I hear that time and time again because a lot of times when people come to me, they'll say, well, I had a virtual assistant before and it didn't work out. So,
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of times, people will hire someone maybe more based on, I don't know, maybe it's more based on their personality and less on what they can actually do. And
Mm-hmm.
so, or they think maybe they'll be able to do more. I think a lot of it's the communication, really digging in when you do that free consultation with the virtual assistant, really asking the questions that are really important to your business and making sure that the virtual assistant really digs into that because, you can sit and chat with someone on the phone for 10 minutes and say, oh yeah, I like you, I think we would work really well together, but not hiring a friend,
Mm-hmm.
hiring someone to support you in your business. So you want to make sure that they understand you and your business and your goals. Another thing I see a lot is people will hire a virtual assistant based on price. So they're trying to save, as much money as they can. And, there are avenues for that work. But, if you're looking for high level,
Mm-hmm.
expertise, then, hiring someone for $5 an hour, on, that may not be the best thing. And I hear that a lot too. If they, hired someone to build a website who doesn't really know how to build a website and it didn't really turn out the way they thought it would. It doesn't really work. I fix a lot of those types of things. So
Mm-hmm. Right.
I think that this is definitely a case of, you get what you pay for sure.
Right.
Um, yeah, and I think that when you do really, invest in someone who's really experienced in the help that you need, then that ROI could be really impressive. I think that
Mm-hmm.
even the clients that I hear like, oh, I don't know that I can afford this, and they still want to try it. They always say, I'm so glad I did that. I'm so glad that we're working together because it's allowed me to do this and this happened, and I got new clients, and so. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the big things. And then, yeah, I think those are really the big ones.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Those are so important, and I'm so glad that you brought those up. I think that I mean what I've seen quite a bit over the years is, and in myself and other solopreneurs, whether they have a small team or not, solopreneur, is just maybe not overestimating, maybe underestimating the importance of freeing up your time to
Yes.
be in your zone of genius.
Yes.
You know, like
Absolutely.
that, I
Absolutely.
realized for myself. kind of in the last 6 months or so, really. I kind of had the light bulb go off for myself. And I thought, well, I'm an early stages entrepreneur and I don't necessarily have the revenue coming in, but I really just I have to be in my zone of genius more than I am. Because right
Right.
now I'm like, scheduling blog posts and doing some of the things that you do is not my zone of genius. The
Right.
creative aspect and strategic aspect of it is, but the actual kind of the time spent doing it,
Mhm.
right? So
Absolutely.
now I have more time to be doing things like this. This is
Absolutely.
a zone of creativity for me to be having webinars, for example. And now my business is really starting to grow.
Right.
So I had the light bulb go on, I took action. And for all of you listening, make sure you have the light bulb on plus take action.
Yeah,
Hire
absolutely.
someone or work with someone regularly, it makes a huge difference.
It does, yeah.
Um,
And you're right about the time for sure. I mean, I
yeah.
think I tell clients all the time, you have your genius, I have mine. When we come together, it's magic.
Mm-hmm.
That it really is, because I
Exactly.
hear a lot where, a client will finally call because, they wanted to create a landing page, but that's not their genius. And so they spend an entire day trying to create a landing page and they're not happy with it,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh my gosh, I spent all this time and I kept having to Google how to do this. And then I'd fall down a rabbit hole and 2 hours would go by and I'm not getting anything done. And it really does frustrate them. And a
Yeah.
lot of times it will burn them out. They
Right.
get so overwhelmed that they think, I can't do this business, but it's not their business that they can't do. It's just that they're focusing their time on areas. You don't need to learn how to use lead pages. You don't need
Yeah.
to. You don't have to take a Facebook ads course. No, you don't need to do that. You just need to partner with someone who already has that expertise and can do that work for you.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
And then you grow faster because you're in your lane of
absolutely. You
magic,
do.
the zone.
Yeah.
So great.
Yes. No, that's exactly what happened with me that first year when I made $14,000 and my husband was like, what? I was like, hey, just like give it some time, and he was like, okay, and so I did. I told myself like this following year, I need to make more money, I'm
Mhm.
not going to be able to sustain this, and
Right.
so I thought, well, if I just hire someone even just for, a few hours a week,
Mhm.
I should be able to double my income at least. And
Mhm.
I did. I did more than that next year. I made more than double. And
Wow.
it was enough to keep me going. That was like, okay, there's something here, like I can really make this business. And, that was years and years ago. So, it's definitely
Yeah.
off. Yeah.
So you've lived it too. So
Yes.
great. So great.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
It's not
I've
just
been there.
theory.
I've been
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I've been. Mhm.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about your ebook. I love it. I think it's so great. It's on your website, and I I loved the daily tasks exercise and like the workbook part of it towards the end.
Mhm. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that and how solopreneurs watching this, entrepreneurs watching this, can get value from it.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's on my website. I have a workbook, like you said, of the ebook, and there's a video that goes with it as well that you can check out. But yeah, I mean, in my experience, I found that there's, certain tasks that have to be done daily and weekly, and those tend to be like the ones that have the biggest time sink in your day. So it's usually things like writing and posting, scheduling social media, you're responding to comments, writing little bits of copy for things, sending out emails. Those things really start to add up to a really big chunk in time. So I know that a lot of my clients, when they start to work with me, they'll say that they're spending, their entire morning just handling that type of stuff. And
Mhm.
you should really be focusing on that most important thing that needs to be done for the day first thing in the morning when you're fresh and you're ready to go,
Right.
not after you've been trying to like schedule social media for 2 hours and you're frazzled and you're trying to figure something else out. You should really spend the majority of your time in your genius. And I think that's a lot of what small business owners, I think there's areas where they have their genius and then there's areas that they're not and they don't need to be
Mhm.
spending time. So I think it's a lot about looking at the daily tasks that you're doing every day, daily, weekly, and, kind of starting to say, like, are there things here I can let go? Can someone else be handling this? And, how much time would that free up for me? And you'd be surprised. I mean, it can add up to 10, 20 hours a week really quick. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, I mean, a lot of clients want to build something bigger. Maybe they want to build an online course. Well, there's your time. There's your 10 to 20 hours that you need to really dig into that. So yeah, I think it's really important to kind of go through that.
Yeah, I love that example too. It's such a real life, tangible example. If you want to do an online course and you've been thinking about it for years, but you don't have, quote unquote, have the time, and then you outsource, let's say 10 hours, 5 to 10 hours a week, right? Whatever that looks like, give it to someone like Jennie, right? Who you just have confidence can run with it. And then there's your time to have that course. And within 1 to 3 months, you have a whole new revenue stream that's leveraging your time.
Yeah.
Really great. I love that example.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, when it comes to the online course, I have some clients that I'll create every part of it, but, a lot of them do have, their genius that they need to put into it. They need to create the copy for it, but then they'll give me all of that and I do all of the tech stuff to put it all together, which makes it even go by faster, So it's like as they're creating content and sending it over, I'm setting up everything, designing everything, and by the time they're done with the content, the whole thing's ready to go. And wow, it's really exciting. We can start marketing it and move on to the next project.
Wow, that's so great. It's such a great, what you offer is such a powerful model of partnership, like in teamwork that really has people thrive as opposed to be kind of struggling all the time. It just makes everything smooth. And I really appreciate that about what you offer. And what I'm also really hearing too is you're really a blend of both technical and creative in the sense that you're not just a techie. A lot of people that you find out there are one or the other. They are a web designer and very creative, but they may not do the web development aspects. Technical. Whereas it sounds like you write copy, you design sales pages, and then you're all, et cetera, right? The creative side, but also the technical side. So it's really great and uncommon.
Yeah, I think it is pretty uncommon, but I find it a lot of fun because I like both sides. So I think it's so fun because every day is different. One day I might be working on a lot of creative projects, and that's really exciting. I might be helping someone develop something brand new, and that's so fun to kind of dig through everything with them and, really come out with this great idea, this great plan. And then other days it's fun just to get a bunch of information that needs to be put all together in some way or another and, get to spend all that time on the techie stuff. So it definitely is a blend.
Yeah, that's great. It's wonderful. Well, tell us about your, I think you have an offer or something. I know you had mentioned that you have something that you wanted to make sure people are aware of that you're offering.
Yeah, definitely.
So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So kind of what we talked about, I have a really in-depth workbook, and it really does help you go through and find out how to use a virtual assistant team to grow your business, get your life back, get more time. But it really kind of walks you through the stages of it, because I think a lot of times people feel like they have to do everything all at once, but you really don't. You really don't have to do everything. You just have to start. You just have to really, kind of see where your gaps are, what you kind of need assistance with right now, and start there, because you can always grow. I mean, you don't have to start with everything all at once. So I think that the workbook will really help people kind of walk through where they're currently at, how possibly working with someone in a virtual assistant role can really, when you collaborate on these different types of projects and tasks, I really think as you walk through the workbook, you'll see, wow, that really can make a huge difference in my day, my week, my business. You really see that it'll start to affect all parts. I mean, even your home, your family life, your personal life, you'll find out that you're not working every weekend, which is what I hear a lot. You won't have to work every weekend,
Mhm.
someone will be taking care of a lot of these things that, you're getting up early on the weekend to handle.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I think it will be really fun. Yeah, I mean, if you jump over to my website, it's just my name, JennieLyon.com/lightworker. You can download it there. And if you
Great.
have any questions about it or need help, let me know. I'm always happy to answer any questions.
Great. That's
Yeah,
so wonderful. I love it. And is that
yeah,
also how they would get in touch with you if they wanted to talk with you and do a consult? I know you offer
sure.
those as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, they also have information in the workbook as well where they can just click. But if they go to my website, they can book a free consultation right there on the homepage.
Mm-hmm.
So,
JennieLyon.com. That's I'm going to spell it for people so they
sure,
know it's how to spell Jennie.
sure.
JennielLyon.com. Yeah.
That's it.
And the free
Got it.
consult is really, I did that with you when we first started,
Mhm.
and it was
Yeah.
just well worth the time. I thought it was very valuable, and I think that what you're offering is very valuable as well.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I think so.
Are there any final words of advice that you might have for our folks, our people out there?
I think I would say give it a try. You can always give it a try. I mean, I tell clients, if they're kind of on the fence, just try it out for a trial period. Let's try it out for a month, and let's dig into what's really holding you back and let's just try it out, and
Mhm.
you're not locked into anything long term, there's no contract that says we have to work together for the next year,
Mhm.
just give it a try because I always hear, wow, this really like changed my life and my business because I don't think people realize how much time they're spending on things that they really don't need to be spending time on.
Right.
So I would say that's the biggest thing is, really give it a try. And also I have a really large resources section on my website too. So if you're struggling in a certain area, check it out because I have workbooks on a lot of different things. So if you need help with social media, there's templates and workbooks and checklists that you can check out. And I try to have a lot of different types of downloads for all of the services that we offer, to get people going. So
Yeah.
you can always check those out and then go from there.
Great. Wow. That's wonderful. I love that you have the resources page. I missed that. I didn't even know that. I think that's
Good.
fantastic. I
Oh,
love
you
it.
have to check it out.
I'm, I'm,
Yeah. I'm
I'm
always adding to it.
I love
Yeah.
it. I'm a resources nerd. I'm going to go there right after this
Yeah,
and
check it out.
download some
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, I'm always adding to it. I just added a new one just a couple of weeks ago on pivoting your business to online, since that's what everybody's
Very
worried
great.
about now.
Yeah.
So
It's so
there's a
timely.
workbook there. Yeah, so there's a workbook on that can really help you, move your business completely online. So yeah, it's a good place to
Wonderful.
start.
Wow. So great. I love that you're really connected to what the needs are. So that I love that. I
Yeah,
think that that's
yeah.
critical. And
I have a little notepad here that every time someone tells me something on the phone, I write it down and I kind of keep track of, oh,
ah,
I'm getting this
smart.
question a lot. And I think that would be helpful to people.
Yeah, it's
So
smart.
yeah, keep really
Great.
good track of those questions.
Mm, excellent. Well, thank you so much. This has been so much
Yeah,
fun and it's been
yeah,
very
yeah.
informative and educational. I really appreciate you coming and being with us and spreading your wisdom and sharing that great experience. So
You
thank
bet,
you very much for
absolutely.
being here. And I know I'll be talking with you soon. And again, for anyone who's listening, take advantage of that free consult, especially if you've been wanting to pivot online, talk with Jennie about it.
Now's
So
the
thank you
time.
very
Yeah,
much.
absolutely. Thanks again for having me, Lori. It's a lot of fun.